in on time. We are going to lead our good news.
Those of you who do not know me, my name is DRC Babcock, and I teach Read 180, and I'm so pleased to see all of you here today. All your beautiful, bright, smiling faces on a Monday. Okay, we're going to do good things. We're going to get started with good things this morning, or I should say this afternoon. And just before we start, we have a new staff member here, and I would like you all to give her 2 claps. Her name is Renee Cypress. We're going to welcome
And I want, if I could, you know what, Renee, when we're done with good things, I'll follow up a little bit. So
okay, so do we have somebody who would like to share good things today? Yes, Kathy.
Mrs. Cypress made it through her first day after taking over after a couple people. She's still smiling and happy, so that is a very good thing for science.
Oh, 2 claps. All right, anybody else? Second person. Oh, yes, Miss Nisa.
My father-in-law's pathology came back after they had the cancer surgery to remove the cancer. They weren't able to diagnose the primary source, but he was guessing it was the tonsils. So they took the tonsils and a lymph node in his neck along with surrounding tissue. Pathology came back that yes, the tonsils were primary. The only lymph node that was involved was the one that they removed, and the rest around came clear. So right now, kind of smiling and cancer-free. They're still doing radiology and came off of that thing.
Oh, good news. 2 claps. Okay, and I've got last name, Miss. I know you did first name, Miss Ritzkowski. Yes, Miss Ritzkowski.
I just came back from New York like a week and a half ago, and it was really wonderful. It's where I'm from, so I got to see my parents, and then like 2 days after I got back here, my uncles got engaged in New York, so I was like, really? I'm really happy about both of those things. So,
That is good.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. 2 claps. Yes, sir. You're going to have to give me your first name.
Joe Thomas.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, how are you?
What would you like to share today?
Mrs. Cypress, it was such a pleasure having her. We're so excited she's here. It was at Seahall. Seahall's excited.
Oh, that sounds awesome. 2 claps. Hey, thank you very much. This was a good start to the meeting. Way to go, guys.
I have to follow up with Renee Cypress and say that some of you met Mr. Christensen, and he came to us, had a background in science, and we were very excited. And I think I sent a group of people an email kind of following up when after the first couple of days, he just realized he couldn't do it. Just wasn't, and you all know how hard you work every day, but to come in as a sub, not easy. So I respected that his #1 concern was he wanted to do the right thing for kids. Denise Miner said, hey, I have a name for you. Her name is Renee. And of course, we knew you, Renee, from subbing here, so I already had a respect for you. But you impressed me from the beginning when you sat down. You had plans, day 2. You're like, here's my expectations. Could I come in on the weekend? And when I saw you in line this morning with those students, you could tell the students knew something was different today. So we are thrilled that you're here and that you're giving these middle school kids a chance. And I can already tell you're going to be great. So official welcome to your role. I appreciate you. All right, we are going to dive right in. Oh, I already forgot your name. Lynn from United Way is going to spend just a couple of minutes. For those of you who were not with us last year, the goal of this is just to share a little bit of information, and Tammy Dutton will be our point person for as we move forward. But come on up, Lynn.
I was told I have to be very fast. Way too fast. Tammy is your point person for River Cities United Way, so if you have any questions, hit her up. She knows how to find us. Ashley Wood is actually a representative, but she was double booked and over at Nautilus, so I'm here. So you get me this year. A couple of the things that are going to be in your box. Let me backtrack a little bit. Linda Merritt, River Cities United Way. I've been there 9 years. I became president CEO last year. So I love our organization. I believe in what we do, and I believe in our community. Both my children attended this school, but they've now moved on to high school, so they're doing different things now. So I appreciate you guys and what you do, because it is hard work dealing with kids of this age range. They are a unique challenge every day. River Cities United Way, we are one of 1,300 United Ways worldwide, so if you lived in other communities, you may have heard about United Way. Our primary focus is to raise money to specifically put it right back into the community. We, this year in Havasu, because we fund all of Mojave, La Paz County, Laughlin, Nevada, Needles, California. So we have a very large service area or service territory. In Havasu, this is what we call a staple in every household. These are our partner agencies in Havasu this year. We have 10 partner agencies that are funding 15 different programs as a starting point. If you know of a parent or a family that's struggling and they need some help, this is a place to get you started. So one of these will be put in each one of your boxes. The other thing we have is our brochure. The things that most of our donors like to hear about is what's in the center. So I'm going to open it up for you and show you a little bit. FamilyWise prescription discounts cards. They are a partnership we started back in 2007 with FamilyWise. It is a free prescription discount card if you do not have insurance or you know someone else that does not have insurance. This can save you up to 30% off your medications. The nice part about this is you can actually go to the website, put your medications in, put your dosage in, you can price shop and find out which pharmacy is going to be the cheapest in Lake Havasu. It's a really nice feature. It saved a lot of people a lot of money. Since 2007, over $1.5 million in Mojave County, and in the last 3 months, 120,000 just in Lake Havasu City alone. Absolutely a phenomenal program that's out there, especially for so many families that are struggling right now. Another one that touches your homeless and low-income families is this Kids Bright and Healthy. Sorry, drew a blank on the name. That is a fund we started back in 2003. It's a partnership with the school district for kids who are falling between the gaps. If they need vision, medical, or dental care, this is where you can go. And you can work through Tammy on that if you have someone that needs a reference. Are you familiar with Kids Bright and Healthy? You will be very soon.
Shelly and our counselors.
Okay, so you're familiar with it then. Okay. This is a great program, and again, it helps those that fall through the gaps that can't be helped somewhere else. That's why it's there, that's why we put it in place. The only way money goes into this is if somebody says, I want my money going to Kids Bright and Healthy. Other than that, we raise the money specifically through coin boxes. We have 5 that are at local businesses here in town. It puts about $600 in there, and we put about anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 depending on the need each year on how it works. Last one that everyone likes to know about, you're all familiar with the school tax credit. Last year, the state of Arizona changed the laws as far as the tax credit go. If you are currently paying money to the state of Arizona, here's another way to get your money back. The working poor tax credit is not in place of the school tax credit. It is in addition to $200 for an individual, $400 filing married jointly, and that helps 5 programs within our 10 that we partner with that go right back into our community. So it's kind of a win-win because you pay into the taxes, the money stays in Havasu, it doesn't go to Maricopa and gets siphoned out to someone else. It's actually going to stay right here in Lake Havasu, and then when you file your tax return, you're going to get back on your taxes. So it's been in existence, but they've changed the rules. So now more people.
What's the name of that?
Working Poor Tax Credit. On the pledge forms, there's actually a box right on here that has a little bit more information about it. So if it's something you're interested in, you just need to mark that. That way when the form gets back, we make sure you get the tax credit for it. I know that was a lot of information in a short amount of time, but you guys have a lot on your plate. Any questions?
When is the tax credit due? Is there a due date for the year?
December 31st, yeah.
Same as ours.
If you do payroll deduction, I believe your payroll deduction starts January 1st, so it wouldn't apply until next year's taxes. If you would like to take advantage of it this year, we need the full $200 or $400 by the end of the year. But with our pledge forms, you're able to write a check, pay by credit card, however you want to do. The most effective form, obviously, is workplace. If you're able to take $2 or $4 out each time you get paid, that has the biggest effect, the longest effect. I see 2 questions.
So you can't choose like a smaller amount, it has to be 200 is the minimum? Because like
No.
with our tax credit, we could say we want to donate $50
Yeah.
to somebody.
You can do any amount up to $200.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can do $5 if you want. However you want to set it up, you can.
Okay. I want to see that when we fill out the form in prior years, it kind of kept going.
There are currently 4 employees that Tammy's got a record of
Okay.
that are on perpetual. If your name's not on that perpetual, you need to fill out a new form this year. So just check with her and see if you're on the perpetual already. Last thing that we started this year is we now have a monthly electronic newsletter that tells you what we're doing with the dollars that are donated to us. If you want to know more about what we're doing, if you at least send your form back with your email, we can get you on that list and let you know what's happening.
Thank you. Thanks. That was awesome.
3 minutes. I appreciate the time.
So Tammy will put those in boxes and then you'll turn it all back to Tammy, correct? Yes. You'll begin communication. All right, thank you. All right, purpose for today is we're going to be doing, I'm going to be asking for some feedback. We're going to be checking in on some Capturing Kids' Hearts things, our contract, just a kind of a few reminders, and then we're going to get out of here. So I promised you this. I know this wasn't ideal to have a staff meeting the day before we have a day off, but we haven't been together for a while. So, and I really do promise you that we don't have meetings, just have a meeting. I just don't do that. So, one of the things I want to start with, last week obviously kind of a challenging week for us with the bond, and Michelle Burke, most of you know who Michelle is, and if you know anything about the bond, you know that she was the face, and she put in literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of her own time. And so that was quite a hit for her. And if you know her, you know that she's passionate about whatever she does. So I want us to take 1 minute, 2 minutes, and we're going to fill up our Thunderbolt thing with affirmations for Michelle. So it can be whatever. I mean, anything that she's touched most of us through her text. So it doesn't matter if you want to sign your name, sign your name. If not, that's fine. So. Check-in on our social contract for us. So the first thing I'd like you to do is, kind of just remember the red ones were the ones that stuck out that we really were important to us this year. If you could just kind of glance at those. Teamwork, accountable, cooperation, calmly, we added those this year. So if you could just take a second and with your table, first come up with one area that you feel like we are doing really well at as a staff. So just one area that we're doing well at as a staff. Just talk with your group on that, and then we'll do this for, let's say 2 minutes. And then we'll have one person share out what your group decided was important.
Like we're all really kind of working together, but
Raise your hand if you need another minute. Okay. 30 seconds.
Ted, did you see this?
All right, so one area from our contract that you feel like we're doing well at.
We talked about how everybody is teamwork. Someone sends out an email and it needs to be covered before people can respond. It's covered within a second.
Okay. Heather's our scribe over there. All right, thank you. I appreciate that hugely. Some of you, when you're emailing at 5 o'clock in the morning because you need duty coverage, that's not how it's always been, and so I appreciate that because it's about the safety of our students. Go over here.
Due price. Everyone's doing affirmations.
Awesome. Okay, how about here?
So the same thing, due praise, historically as a culture, we're not good at accepting compliments. So I think we've done a good job at, finding people that struggle with it and make sure that they get them so they realize how valuable they are.
Awesome. So that's 2 for that one. How about over here?
We had a few, but communication was kind of the theme.
Okay.
We felt like everybody had really had communication, both in meetings and just communicating with each other, everybody's needs and how they need to be supported and having teamwork.
Okay, awesome. How about you? Tell me if I'm going too fast enough. Okay.
We feel we're really good at teamwork, like putting our differences aside and working together for the common good. And I also feel like as a school, we work together as a really good team, as maybe is not necessarily the case at all schools. So I like that we're able to agree to disagree for the common good.
Perfect. That's a good one. Previous.
We said patient. We're being patient with the CKH process in its second year and being patient with supporting people that we're new to working with. Because a lot of us are, even though we're not new teachers, we're working with new people.
Okay.
We have worked in the past.
We went with support just because, the emails at 5 o'clock in the morning going, oh my gosh, we need to get this covered, or hey, I'm having this problem, what can we do? We're really good with being able to support each other and help each other out.
Would that go with teamwork, or do you feel like that's separate?
I think it would go separately myself, just because, we're supporting each other in personal lives too, because, the kids come with baggage, we have our own baggage, we just have to hide it from the kids, but we have our own support system, and we have that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, guys.
We chose teamwork also for a lot of the reasons that have already been said, but everybody's willing to jump in when needed. Something comes up, and all the different people I've seen at the different sporting events willing to take their time and just jump in and cover.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. How about you guys?
We said supportive, so we're piggybacking. Duties, questions, collaboration, teamwork. That's all. Everybody's really supportive. So I guess that's what it is. me to teamwork. Maybe, again, duties and everything. It was like duty coverage is always awesome. I couldn't even get my duty back this morning. I was like, no. I was like, I got it. I'll go down there. I got time. No, I'm covering it.
That's so awesome. I have to share that when I first came over here and talked about duty, the response I got from the person I was talking to was, yeah, people just don't go to duty. Who's watching the kids? So to be where you all are right now, that's amazing. Again, it really is about the safety of our students. All right, now let's shift over to what's an area that we can do better. We can do better, and it doesn't have to be anything, specific situation or anything, but respect, support, professionalism, fairness, direct and personal, do praise, listen and be attentive, open to new ideas, problem solve, communication, understanding, compassionate, value, trusted, positive attitude, equality, approachable, integrity, honesty, consistent, proactive, no gossip, drama, open-minded, loyalty, teamwork, humility, and I read those other ones, reflective and patience. And these can be about me as well. So if there's something, this would be a good time if there's something that I can do better. So what's an area that we can just keep working on? 2 minutes, go. About a minute. Raise your hand if you need 30 more seconds. Okay, we'll put it on 30 more seconds.
So we're going to say this one. Say both.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, let's go ahead and start it. I like that this one was first. We're going to start over here.
We came to a consensus that communication needs to be work on. I mean, once you think you're communicating enough, you're probably not. So you need to always constantly communicate. Like, for example, I didn't know we're having a meeting. So it's good that my team communicates.
Okay. Is there something that I can do better to make sure you're aware?
No, we just don't.
Okay. Does it help? There's been a couple meetings, I think, where that morning I'll send the invite again, just to remind you. Okay, I can do that. That means Laura. Okay, so that's good feedback. Okay, bye, you guys.
Okay, well, did we have Celebrate on there? Because maybe that's kind of where it's going. Well, it just seems like we don't ever get that time for reflection and that time to debrief. I mean, we get this, like, what do I do right, what do I do better, little survey thing, but we don't kind of ever get together to do stuff, and then kind of along that lines, it just, I don't know then what happens in the teams, and maybe it's just because we're downstairs, and like in our own world. It's like if something really awesome happened in such and such a team, I didn't get to know about that.
We do have reflection on it.
Though that's what we put reflection, and then I'm calling.
What do you think
but
that
I
would
was
look
trying to
like?
think. So
That's what we were struggling with.
I don't know.
What it would look like, because she's talking more about like getting to know each other more.
That we know each other better, so that
we are.
we know what had happened.
I launch goes along with that with our apps.
Okay.
I
Okay. So something that grows our group more. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, because we grow in our teams really well, but once we get in a team, like, I mean, I've known a lot of people in here, but now, like, we're like away from everybody. And
Okay.
We don't get to see everybody as much.
Okay, so could that be as easy as at meetings we do release one group growing activity? Or y'all can't sit with
I
the
don't want
same
it to
people?
be something that makes sense.
Not every
Yeah.
time, not every time.
But like the good things, I mean, sometimes I kind of hear about stuff, but I don't ever hear what
Okay.
any corner of the building is doing,
Okay.
unless the kids actually share, which we don't.
Okay. Back to you.
Nice job, Mr. Larson.
Okay, so that's something to bring. So we're open to ideas. Okay, thank you. How about you guys?
We said maybe direct and personal. Sometimes it's difficult to approach others. You have to be like willing to go and talk to that person and the courage, like I said, to talk to that person also.
I think we all can keep working on that. I mean, it is easier to say, hey, could you secure this? But I'll help you. Okay, perfect. How about you guys?
We were kind of divided. Some of us didn't think we needed to change anything on there that we were doing well, and some of us said that we need to really work on trust, being valued, and we can do praise. So we were kind of very divided.
Okay.
And I said that I came from a undisclosed school before this, and none of those things were being met. So I feel pretty blessed because this is like living the dream compared to where I came from.
Awesome. And that's a good reminder, I think. Okay, you got that, Heather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Living the dream.
How about your table?
We always said being consistent. Like if you go upstairs for duty in the morning, one morning the duty teachers are being consistent, making the kids take off their jackets, and another morning you go up there and the kids all have their regular jackets on, and they might have their techs out all over the place, their devices. You know, it's not right that some kids can have their devices out some mornings and then have their jackets on. You know, in other words, the teachers need to all be on the same page. You know, so we need to all be consistent with wherever we're at.
How do you fix that?
Well, hello everybody.
Communication.
They need to have their jackets off. If you see them with a sweatshirt on that's not a standardized jacket, they need to take it off when they get into the building. They're not allowed to have it. Another thing is the gum.
Okay. Okay. I think that the best thing with is, especially if you're upstairs or wherever you're at, if you're communicating with one another,
Yeah.
that to make sure that on your day that you are all consistent. And I think the main message with the jackets is that sometimes if your cafeteria is a reminder, hey, don't forget when you're in your locker, goes in the locker. And that's why Sue keeps making that first period announcement. So I do not want you guys to spend time in your classroom except that first period check, battling jackets. I don't want you to take a second fighting kids over jackets. We'll do that at lunch. But so I think the best thing is if you're communicating with your group wherever you are.
I think sometimes maybe we're not all clear, and I think maybe the communication maybe is like key there, because I've told kids, you know, you take your jacket off, and then they're like, well, we've been told that we can keep it on until we get to our locker before first period. So maybe we all need to talk about this again, or have one common.
It's in the building is what we've always
My
been told.
agreement, my understanding last year was before school, we weren't going to do the fight.
Right, okay.
So once they go up, we won't win that.
Okay.
Once they're up to their locker, then we're good. They've had a place to put it.
Okay.
So I think that makes it easier on
Okay,
you
so
all,
let them
too.
wear it upstairs while they're sitting in the hallways?
I wouldn't fight it.
Okay, and no devices, right?
Right, devices, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, so once they get upstairs and they can put it in their locker, then that's, and so it's okay to remind them, don't forget to put that in your locker, whatever, so. I think it's gonna be easier on you all, do that fight before school. Any disagreement, any concerns with that?
I have one more real quick one. Entering the building and they've got something that has to please put it in the trash.
Yes.
What if it's a cup that they brought from home that they are gonna
If there's
throw away?
coffee or something in it, the coffee's gotta go.
Just dump it, they can keep it contained.
Yeah. And that's, okay, what'd you guys have? Thank you, Dawn.
We also had communication. We were a little undecided, communication accountability, and it was just getting the paperwork to special ed and the IEP ahead of time in there. And we figured that that must have been addressed at some point because Joanne has sent that help flow chart out. So the fact that that exists was maybe identifying something that's falling through the crack, and this can help that. So thankfully that's there, but still, it would be good if people could get the necessary reports. Like I said, it's 5 days.
Okay.
Is that another thing that it'd be possible to like maybe send out a reminder right there?
That one's not.
Another thing on the.
That's not, only because that would be Bev, and she's taking care of every student in the district.
I think I've been good about it so far. I was just thinking.
I think the best thing is that when you create a habit with your calendar of looking at your week and looking at your day on Sunday. Week and day. Okay. All right, how about it back here?
We were kind of divided also between kind of not really needing improvement and also consistency.
Okay.
I think it's kind of the children's understanding. I think sometimes, obviously, different classrooms are going to do different things, and that's totally fine. But I think that sometimes there's a little bit, there's not enough consistency that they really know what to do all the time.
Okay.
I think it's under the same lines of, well, are they allowed to wear their jackets or are they not allowed to wear their jackets?
So where does that fit in our contract, do you think? Just consistent?
Communication.
Or communication?
Well, we just.
Well, wait, whoa.
I
You
mean-
guys, what you talked about?
To me, it's difficult because people communicate when they need to communicate. It's not like when problems arise, we communicate. Like it's not. But I guess I don't know.
But the consistency part, would you see that, would you just use the word consistent? Is that
Yeah.
what you guys talked about? Okay.
Yeah.
Like within the classroom or wherever we are?
Yeah.
Okay. Likewise.
We think there's probably room for improvement on everything because you never want to stop improving. We chose proactive. We think that, a lot of this stuff that they're talking about, we're reacting to something that maybe should have never been done. We're way better at being proactive because we're starting to kind of see the things that we need to keep improving on. But nobody's ever 100% ready for everything. So, but I guess our whole idea was to try to just be as proactive as possible.
Okay, just in everything.
In everything.
Okay. How about you?
I guess I'm in. In my group, and who am I to talk?
She just said
wow. But my group agreed that approachability, based on the fact that so many people are dealing with personal issues, or maybe family members dealing with personal issues, or they're just crazy busy, and so they, kind of get that blinders on, and even though they may not be thinking that they're not approachable, just because they're so busy, other people feel like they're not. So just being aware that, you need to kind of put stuff aside.
Okay. Got that in there? Yeah. Okay. All right.
We talked about value, just because sometimes it seems like certain people, and there are sometimes certain people that they do everything, and they get attention for that, or they get some people, doing affirmation and stuff like that all the time, versus other people who are still working hard, doing great things and everything. Sometimes they get overlooked.
Okay.
And it's not intentional or anything like that. It's just something that we thought maybe we could focus on working on, looking for something good that that people are saying and telling them about it.
Okay.
Or something helpful that they're doing for the school.
Okay. Could that even be when you go to the affirmation board? I think most of us go there with them, like, I'm going to write one for this person. Could it even be, okay, while I'm here, what's something that maybe didn't stick in my mind but was really powerful? Right. Okay, so just being aware of that. That's really good. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. So thank you for that feedback. So we'll just quickly revisit this down the road and just kind of do a check-in. Now I want to shift gears, and we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're in year 2 of our CKH full implementation. We had our last group attend a couple weeks ago. We can see from going through classrooms, this is one of those things that I think if it's part of who you are and in your classroom, it will be part of who you are in your classroom. But it's easy to let things slip away. So this time I'm going to start with just your own, just you. Just your own, what's one thing that you feel like, for me, the best thing I do at CKH is this. The best thing I do in my classroom with CKH, and those of you that just went, judge just right at where you're at right now. So just think about, for you, the thing that you know you nail. And I'm going to ask you to exclude handshaking and exclude good things. Because those are we've been doing those for a while. So beyond that, just your own thought. What's the one thing that you're doing the best at? Just in your own head. Just in your own head. Just in your own head. So I shouldn't hear any voices right now. About 15 more seconds. Okay, jot that down. Just your own. And then same thing just for you, the one thing that you know you are most struggling with. That you're most struggling with, just for you in your own classroom.
Do you have a list of things that you could, because I think most of us are thinking handshakes, good things, social contracts, launches, but what else are you looking at?
Fouls.
Checks, fouls.
That's about it.
Okay.
Okay, go. Area that you need to work on, commit to what you're going to do to improve upon that. What can you do to make that area better? 30 more seconds.
keep it.
Okay, so let's bring those thoughts together. So with your group, just focus on the things that are going well. This should be fairly fast. So you're going to come up with an agreement in your group. The one thing that your group, from everybody's feedback, you feel like at your table, we agree you're doing really well at this one area. So just through some conversation. 1 minute, go.
Pretty consistent with my signal. And I don't want girls to do it, but I require enough of them to do it to where I'm fighting down. And I want to say over the last week I've been slacking at it a little, but I've been pretty good over like up until The only time I do this is like calls. So I'm like, no, okay, wait. All right, but, and, you know, they appreciate that I'm flexible with it, but I'm pretty much, you guys were I'm good at making sure that I'm not sure any of
All right, let's start with Amanda, your table.
We all think that.
We were all kind of varied, but I think the most consistent thing between the four of us would have been the use of T-signal and making sure that they're all with us.
Okay, thank you. How about you guys?
It was kind of a toss-up between modeling the contract, using it to redirect students, and just coming up with a common connection with the students using that all together. So it's rather than a procedural thing, it's like
So connection to social contract, making it
just
meaningful? No?
then it's just personal itself. Yeah.
Okay. Got that?
Yes, thank you. We have a social contract, just that, we feel that having it up, if you need to refer to them, you need to, asking the kids to, help us make sure that we're helping do it as well, that things go well. We do it every night, we explore it. So, for me, I feel like we improve every night she does a flip chart. So as they come in, it's flipped, so they don't see all the periods. They're relevant for their own period, which is a great idea as well. So she's even readapted this.
Okay, so social contract, all right, how about you guys back here? Christine, what do you think?
Same thing.
Social contract.
Referring back to it, making sure that, like you said, holding ourselves accountable as well as the students.
Okay, perfect. Robin, how about your team?
Well, we all had different areas, but I think they all kind of fall under a classroom climate. So we had timeouts going good, diffusing situations before they entered the room, affirmations, all kind of just that climate.
Okay, that's perfect. All right. Crystal, how about your group?
We have the social contract, referring back to it, making sure we're holding ourselves accountable for it, the kids.
Okay. Social contract. All right. Dan, what about your table?
We were kind of all over the place too. I think the social contract always.
Okay. Lance, how about your table?
Affirmations are probably years along the line of what you talked about with the positive.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Jerome, how about your table?
Launches?
Launches.
How to work consistently and some kind of consistent. I wasn't thinking of climate and climate just as kind of but the not a given, I don't mean like that, but when I ask you like what you're looking for is age, and we noted all the other things that we practice all the time, so lunches is what I have to think about.
Okay. All right. Carrie, how about your table?
We were all over the place. Some people said social contract, I said curricular, I'm way better now than I used to be. Affirmations, we're all over the place. I really agree. Okay.
All right. Okay, now shifting, and this one I really do want you to agree on as your table. What's an area that, and it could be something, because I'm guessing we'll probably have a similar thread throughout, but what's an area that you at your table agree we need to keep working on this area? We need to keep working on it. So let's just take about 2 minutes. Go.
I like reading. Good things we've done as a science team about how things are getting involved in this today. That's what we talk about. Science team kind of thinking about we've been finding time to figure out how I fit that in. I feel like leading students refer back to the social contract. I refer back to it, but I'm not as good at professional tutoring. So I do need to get better at that and like breaking their attention there. I do it randomly, but not enough. And then all these students have a little behavior that's really good about. I'm really good about this, but like just little things, holding their attention. Things I do to take their time. You know what I mean? So I know better, but I just holding here.
45 seconds.
Yeah, because it's really done. It's like, okay, it stops. What is all the rest of it doing? You lose that. Well, then, I think when you put one of mine, like, you're right, but I'm the one let's agree on the
Well, I think it's the same. I think it's being and kind of holding them accountable with babies. Yeah, I feel like checking is a part of that.
All right, area we need to keep working on. Heather, how about your group?
We talked about the checks and follow system and how it's just hard for us to to feel like we're implementing it right when it doesn't work. And I shared personally that I've like tried the checks are finally working, but the fouls, like I've done like observations and I've reread that section of the book and I looked it up on YouTube and like I've literally tried to reteach and I now have the same kids now for a year and a half and like even then they've heard the speech from me, they've seen the slides, I've modeled it, I've tried so hard, but those stupid fouls, I just don't know how to make it work. So when I'm at a point where I feel like I've tried it and tried it and tried it and it still doesn't work, I feel like, what am I not doing? What am I not modeling? What am I, it's no longer, I'm not going to put the blame on the students for not knowing how to do it properly or for making it a big trauma effect, but like, I just cannot get them across. So for our table, we just said checks and fouls, specifically fouls.
Okay. Can you?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Okay, what do you guys say?
For myself, it's the whole thing, it just depends on what day it is.
Right.
I'm trying to agree on 4 questions and just the routine. Yeah. That's important.
Okay, so that's all that has a poster. You do, okay. So 4 questions kind of feeds into that same area.
Right.
It's a discipline part of it. Okay. Lisa, how about your?
We said the checks and fouls.
Right.
And it's particularly challenging in exploratory because we only get it for 9 weeks. And so either that is something that maybe at the beginning of the year more so we proactively think to teach it, but more so like now, either they're kind of doing it from their team or they're kind of not. It's a little more difficult to do. I myself have, it's probably not very effective, but basically I'm kind of watching the area and I'm watching the kids and I'm signaling the kid that's not doing it kind of, I don't know, I'm not going over to check the kid, but basically my mindset and what I've said to them is either you're going to fix each other, that, the whole I'm having to get involved thing, more so than, I don't know, but the checks is, I'm feeling like something that in exploratories, it's either happening elsewhere or it's hard for us to teach that.
Okay, thank you. How about you guys?
We said the checks and foul system as well. So
More
more on the fouls and
All right, thank you. Denise, how about your table?
The 4 questions.
Okay.
Just kind of taking the time to go through the 4 questions, and even with those kiddos that you're constantly every day asking the 4 questions too, because every day is a new day.
Right.
So.
Okay. Thank you. Kim, how about your table?
We went with checks and fouls.
Okay.
Most of the fouls, yes.
Okay.
They're yelling out.
Okay. Thank you. Katie, what about your table?
We were saying holding them accountable for upholding the social contract, their end of the deal.
Okay.
And everything that encompasses that. So just doing the checks and fouls properly, but then just making sure that their behavior is up to the contract. We're not good at holding them accountable.
Kind of the same idea, like the discipline model part of it? Is that, or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Adam, how about your table?
He said checks and fouls.
Okay.
Sometimes that checks and fouls can swap. It makes it less than causes more disruptions than what the actual foul.
Okay. Perfect. Rebecca, how about you guys?
Set affirmations.
Okay. And what's the challenge?
I think finding a method that works in the classroom, how often, how do you hold the kids accountable for it? I know it sounds, exploratory, it's tough, especially at the PE setting. It's just another thing we want the kids to sit and do.
Yeah.
And so, not saying that we can't get them to buy into it, but how do I give 60 kids a piece of paper to keep track of who they send it to, and then we have some that don't sign their name correctly, don't give the information correctly. So, still a little uncomfortable with it, doesn't mean that I'm still in the process and I try to chip away and okay, this didn't work as well, I'll try this. Okay, and the same thing kind of is consistent.
Perfect. Okay. How about you guys? Chelsea, what about you?
It's like 3 questions.
The questions,
Take
questions.
your time.
Okay. All right, so that's pretty consistent. Did I miss anything? All right. Here's my challenge to you all then is, I think one of the interesting things, when I did my student chat, the end of last year, I think, when we were talking about the fouls specifically, the feedback from the kids was, you know, in most classrooms, it doesn't really happen very often. You know, I mean, really, if I think about, for me, it would be when I think about the cafeteria, and I'm not saying it doesn't because they're kids, but, and that's a good thing. We don't have too many fouls happening, but so I heard the really all of the discipline model, mostly the fouls. My challenge to you all is just as you're doing what you do. I'm not saying that's what you need to focus on and get better. You're doing the best you can. So if you could just be thinking of, even when you have team meetings or department meetings, is there something that, especially with maybe we could say the checks, because I think the fouls are kind of a separate thing. Is there something that we could do so that by the end of the year, we've refined some things so that next year when we dive in at the beginning of the year? Heather, I heard you clearly when, you know, if we're not having problems with good things, we're not having problems with handshaking, we're not having problems with launches, this is a tough part. This is a tough part because it's just hard to put all these pieces into place. So if I had to say, if we have an area that we're going to struggle in, I'm okay that it's that area. That's the reactive part. So we're just keep, I don't want you to feel guilty if you feel like you're struggling. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And if you can find, if something clicks in your classroom and you go, oh my gosh, I tried this and it worked great, then share it out and let people know. But I want to tell you that I am thrilled with where we're at, with especially having so many new people. Y'all are doing great things. So we'll just kind of keep checking in. And the main thing again is I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to feel guilty. Just if there's something that you find that works, then let's share with each other. But I would rather have us be masters at the proactive part and keep refining the reactive.